My, female 28, husband's, male 30, older brother, male 35, confessed that he's in love with me. What the hell do I do? This happened last week. I am still shocked and have no idea what to do with this information. A little backstory. My husband and I have been friends since I was in middle school, so we've known each other and each other's families forever. We started dating after college and got married 2 years ago. Let's call my husband Greg and his older brother Michael. I've obviously known Michael just as long as I've known Greg, but in that vague, peripheral way, you know, a friend's older brother. He was already well into college by the time I met and started hanging out with Greg, so until we got married, I hadn't had a lot of contact with him except for holidays when everybody was home. Michael and his wife, let's call her Stephanie, have been separated for over a year and are in the process of getting divorced. He primarily cares for their 6-year-old son. Stephanie moved out of state. Michael is an ER physician and has been insanely busy since COVID started, especially since their son's daycare is still closed. Since I'm able to work remotely, I've stepped in to help out with babysitting. As a result, I've had more interaction with Michael, but still, it's not much. Just him getting home exhausted from work saying, thanks, me saying some version of, no worries, happy to spend time with my nephew, and then I leave. Nothing romantic, no ulterior motives, nothing weird. Then, last week, as I was gathering up my laptop and stuff getting ready to go home, Michael said, hey, I really need to talk to you about something that's been bugging me. I honestly thought it was going to be that I had done something wrong in caring for his son, letting him eat something he wasn't supposed to, or something like that. But then, he essentially told me that he's been in love with me for years, and that his feeling toward me were a contributing factor in him leaving Stephanie, and seeing me with his son and coming home to me every night has been wonderful. He then said, I understand you're with Greg, but I had to tell you how I feel. I sort of blacked out from shock, mumbled something about needing to get home, and left. I can't stress enough how little one-on-one contact Michael and I have had. Like, I don't think I've ever even hugged him. If you added up all the words we've ever spoken to each other, it might comprise a 30-minute conversation. He's almost like a father-teacher figure to me. I certainly don't feel the same way about him, and am blown away that not only is he apparently in love with me, how? But I was a contributing factor in his divorce, which means Stephanie knows how he feels. Because I know some problematic people will ask, no, I have never led him on, worn anything even remotely revealing in front of him, texted him about anything other than childcare logistics, or spent more than 10 minutes alone with him. I'm honestly more confused than anything because, from my perspective, he knows nothing about me. Like we barely talk. How the hell can he think he's in love with me? I've avoided him entirely since it happened, saying I had a bunch of meetings and couldn't babysit last week, which I feel really guilty about because I love spending time with my nephew. I haven't told anyone else, especially my husband. Please help. This is so far above my pay grade and probably above Reddit's as well, but I have no idea what to do. I don't want to cause a weird rift between brothers or not be able to see my nephew anymore. Any advice is welcome. Thanks. Hey, OP, I think you need to tell your husband at least. This isn't the kind of thing you should be keeping from him, especially because you're likely to be seeing them again at some point. I think in talking to your husband, you'll be able to figure out the best way to proceed together. If anything, it will certainly make a future interaction with the brother a lot more stress-free for you. Plus, your husband will likely find out anyway, so it'd be best if it came from you. How was that for a first story, huh? Alright, let's see how the second one goes. I, 25 female, just found out my boyfriend, 29 male, is in a weird secret society, and it changes my opinion of him. For background, my boyfriend, 29 male, and I, 25 female, both went to snobby name-brand American colleges, but we had very different experiences. I had an absolutely awful time in college. I was a scholarship student doing 17 hours a week of work study, so I was in a very different economic position from many of my classmates, and people were not kind about it. I became a big target for bullies because of my bad grammar, Walmart brand clothes, and lack of knowledge of the finer things. I did manage to make a tight group of friends who were in a similar situation, and we've always stuck together. We now communicate mainly via group chat. My boyfriend, on the other hand, went to an expensive boarding school in the UK, where he was head boy, yuck, and was thus treated like a god during his time in college. To be clear, we went to different schools, but they were very similar in terms of social structure. My boyfriend can sometimes be a tad snobby, but one of the reasons I love him is that he seemed to have a genuinely kind, generous, and humble nature. Our relationship has been great for the 1.5 years we've been together, and we're quarantining together. This morning, one of my old college friends sent a link to a Google account to the group chat. As it turns out, one of those absurd secret societies at my boyfriend's old school had been hacked, and someone had uploaded all their old documents, emails, and chats to his Google account. I know it was unethical to look, but all my friends were all having a great time making fun of these absurd snobs. I noticed that the majority of these emails were from 7 years ago, when my boyfriend would have been a senior. I also noticed that one of these boys, indeed, the effing president of the society, had the same first name as my boyfriend. My boyfriend has a very common Commonwealth rich guy name, so I thought nothing of it and assumed it was a coincidence. Now, some of these messages were mundane, but many were mean, elitist, and cruel in the worst possible way. They actively scheme about how to tell if someone is the wrong sort of person, read poor, so they can make sure not to invite these people to join. They make fun of potential members for things they can't help, like in one case, a stutter, and in another, a lazy eye, in a really cruel way. They made explicit sexual comments about girls they all knew, and possibly worst of all, they all openly agreed that it was best to keep non-white or female members to a minimum, only accepting one or two so as not to seem racist if the administration should demand to see a roster, as it occasionally did. All of us in the group chat were reading through these, literally hundreds of pages of information at the same time, and all of a sudden, one guy sent a message to the group saying, "Oh my god, throw RA0024, look who it is," plus a screenshot of the official roster document from my boyfriend's senior year. My boyfriend was listed as president with his full first, middle, and last name, and the name of his dorm leaving no room for doubt. My stomach dropped. Then I started searching through the alumni folder and found lots of evidence that he is still regularly involved in his group's meetings. My boyfriend is still Zooming in the office, so I haven't asked him about any of this. I don't even know what I should say. I'm aware that college boys are incredibly immature, so my boyfriend may have done some growing up since he graduated. But now I can't shake the thought that my boyfriend secretly thinks that I'm the wrong sort of person, and maybe even makes fun of me with his friends when I'm not around. It's making me feel sad and sick. Am I overreacting? Does the discovery permanently change the relationship? Should I just write this off as stupid kid stuff and move on? Is there any way I can talk about this with him? Edited to add, I'm getting a lot of DMs calling me a gold digger for some weird reason. I think I should say that I'm not relying on my boyfriend to support me. Yes, he is wealthier than me, but I have my own career and we split all living costs. On another note, I greatly appreciate everyone who has taken the time to leave constructive comments. I really need all the help I can get. Edited again to add, thank you all so much for your understanding. I appreciate all the constructive comments so much. My boyfriend and I are planning to go hiking for the holiday on Monday, so I think I will talk to him then. In response to a very helpful message, I would like to clarify that when I say college in America refers to the 4 years after secondary school, so you're usually 18 to 23 years old. I apologize for any misunderstanding. Thanks again, everybody. I think discussing this discovery with him would be beneficial for you both. Give him an opportunity to address the more repulsive of his communication directly. Perhaps he can own his poor behavior and assert that he has grown a lot since then. Perhaps he will not and justify it. Either way, you will learn more about who he is today compared to back then, and will have more information to make a decision. In doing so, I would write down some of your thoughts. This has the potential to be an extremely emotional discussion, and having a list of bullet points of things you want to know or want to say to him might help you when you're feeling overwhelmed. Because he might respond in any number of ways, he might get defensive, he might be dismissive, he might listen carefully then calmly tell you why you're overreacting. He might break down and cry and say he's grown up now. You just don't know what's going to happen. I know it feels like the world has shifted, and I'm so sorry. Do the best you can to collect yourself and figure out what you need to know to move forward. Oh man, what a rough ride there. All right, let's see how the next one goes. My 23 female boyfriend, 23 male, asks for free stuff from my business, and it's annoying. So I, 23 female, own a small smoke shop and give free tiered gifts with purchases like lighters, chiliums, rolling papers, etc. I keep a lot of them at home where we live together. Sometimes I'll grab a lighter or pack of papers, but not too often. My boyfriend treats it like his personal and free smoke shop. I asked him to start asking before he takes it, which he does, but he asks me for free stuff constantly. I locked everything up now, and so he has to ask. And I've told him he's going to have to start paying for stuff. He says I don't need the money. I'm not struggling by any means, and that I give them away free anyway. I'm not sure if I'm being selfish, but I feel like it's annoying that he asks for a few packs of papers and a couple lighters a week. He'll lose the lighters a lot too, and sometimes asks for more than one a day. When I say no, he doesn't get angry, but looks so disappointed and sulks. I'm just tired of it, and I know they aren't necessarily expensive items, and I'm giving them away for free, with purchase, but it's the principle that he asks for so much. I explain to him it's for business, and he says I have so many that it doesn't matter. Pretend he is constantly asking you for money. Constantly. Almost daily. Every week. Weeks on end. And then react accordingly. Because that's what's happening. If he's too stupid to understand, educate him. But please do not feel bad about this stuff. Learn from this to be confident in your thoughts and opinions. Congrats on your business. You're killing it. Just keep tracking your sales. Track your expenses. Track your profit. Every month. Do not let your boyfriend bring you down. You're a badass 23 female with a successful business. Man, I hope I get to be that successful. Fingers crossed. Next up, my 22 female, ex 24 male, and his sister, 22 female, are being harassed by my parents. Do I help them? My parents were extremely hard to live with. The nicest thing they ever did for me was letting me move out at 16, and even then, they only agreed under duress. However, they were still harassing me. So at 18, I changed my name and moved as far away from my hometown as I could. They also made my birthday, which was the 4th, genuinely traumatic. To such an extent that on 4th of October each year, I have a therapy appointment, and that's basically all I'm capable of doing on that day. When I turned 19, I said I didn't want a party, but my friend at the time decided I didn't really mean that and threw me a surprise party. So from then on, I told people that the date on my name change certificate, the 20th, was my birthday, even though I still have to use the 4th on formal documents. I know lying about my birthday is weird, but after the surprise party, I didn't want to risk it. Shortly after my 19th, I met Jack and Jill, who were siblings and roommates. Jill and I were friends first. Then, through her, I met Jack, and Jack and I began dating 6 months ago. They weren't involved in the party, so I was able to tell them my birthday was the 20th and hid the real date. I told them about 80% of the abuse I went through growing up. However, they had a good home life with loving parents, and I could see them struggling to comprehend the reality of what I was saying. So I held off on telling them the worst bits until I was sure they'd believe me, and never told them my real name or birthday. On the 4th, Mum messaged me. She should not have been able to do this, as I completely restarted my social media with my new name and fake birthday, and blocked all my relatives. So she's made an account just for this. She sent "Happy birthday, old name," along with a lengthy message full of her typical bullshit about how it's been years since she heard from me, written as if she has no idea why that is. Jack saw the start of the message and began demanding answers that I said I wasn't ready to give, and asked if we could drop it. He got Jill in on it, and they both kept asking questions, so I left. By the next day, I found out that they had contacted my mother to get her side of the story, and they criticized me for removing my parents from my life and said I should give them another chance. I then broke up with Jack and told Jill we weren't friends anymore. It's been about a week, and my parents have been harassing Jack and Jill this whole time, demanding my contact info and address. Good news is, I moved at the start of September, and they have not been to my new place yet, so they can't give my address as they genuinely don't know it. And I've blocked them all, Jack, Jill, parents, on social media. I don't know what to do. I kind of feel like they brought this on themselves, to be honest, and if I step in, then I'd be opening the door to my parents, even if it's just a crack. Jack and Jill have been messaging our mutual friends about it, saying I've left them in the lurch, which I kind of have, and they want me to fix this by speaking to my parents, who say that if we can just have a conversation, then they'll leave us all alone. What do I do? Should I talk to Mom and Dad to get rid of them, or just leave Jack and Jill to fend for themselves? Definitely do not re-establish contact. You've done a great job breaking it, and these people have gotten you re-involved for no reason. Besides, do you really think if you have a conversation with them, they will leave you or Jack and Jill alone? I really doubt that. You should not only not help them here, but I also think you can't. They opened this can of worms themselves instead of simply trusting you because they are not a very good part of your support system. Do you have people who you think might understand you can talk to? I think you should reach out to as many friends as you can right now. This sounds really hard. Good luck. Thanks for tuning into the Sire. If you enjoyed today's content, smash that like button, Subscribe for more unique insights. Catch you in the next one.